Stellar Blade is a solid and fun game with some noticeable yet minor shortcomings that reminds me of the PlayStation 2 and 3 era of action combat games, and I mean that in the best way possible. Hello everyone, Dynamo here. Welcome to my review of Stellar Blade, developed by Shift Up and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. Exclusive on the PlayStation 5 console, for now. I'm very positive it's going to be on PC anyways. I mean look, here's an article, so please, my PC homies, just be patient, you'll get your turn soon enough. Back to the review. I just want to say I had a great time on my first playthrough with Stellar Blade for about nearly 20 hours, then on New Game Plus in just half that time. The game is so well polished and crafted that I have not ran into any major bugs or performance issues on my end. A rare case in modern AAA titles nowadays. But let's talk about the positives and negatives in each category. First, the combat. I made a previous video regarding the demo, its combat system I had personal problems with. It's mostly negative, with people having their fair share of comments on my video calling me out. And you have every right to say them, but I stand by it. When I described Stellar Blade as more Souls-like than character action, many were upset with that statement. When I played the demo, I criticized the timing of the controller inputs. It felt sloppy and off, like the character Eve could not react fast enough to my button presses. So I had to adjust to my timing to a Souls-like game, meaning I had to play more cautious style. So with my impressions on the demo, I was hesitant to purchase the game. But thankfully, the devs, Shift Up, released this fix to my critique. Here's a screenshot here. They stated, "The input latency have been reduced, and now parrying and blocking feels good." I want to get on with Eve's attack patterns. While not snappy in terms of execution, it is at least very responsive and accurate thanks to the changes the developers made. Her attack combos feel smooth yet are hefty, and it's great when they react by flinching and staggering. Alright, the defense mechanics, blocking, parrying, and dodging, also has some changes on release day. From the original demo, there was a half a second delay which made it frustrating to counter the enemy when you're trying to read their attack patterns. Again, thanks to Shift Up for hearing our calls, blocking, parrying, and dodging feels fantastic and immediately rewarding when you perform those actions. Furthermore, enemies will do a certain attack animation allowing you to either dodge or parry, flashing blue, red, and yellow. This is a great indicator to time your parry or dodges. I know some people may not like it in today's games, but it sure did help me a lot since, well, due to my age, it's catching up to me sadly. But the only downside to Stellar Blade's combat system is that it lacks flexibility, since it is not a fully realized character action game like Devil May Cry, God of War, or Bayonetta. Meaning you cannot fully interconnect the various combo strings into different attack patterns to your liking, like canceling animations or input buffering. Which means you can only use a certain set of combo strings presented, or stopping your own assault by using the defensive mechanics. What I'm saying is, Stellar Blade is not a stylized action game where you can freely express yourself. Number 2. The level design and platforming segments. In my experience, it is a mixed bag. While I enjoy the majority of the places, some parts feel disjointed, though not entirely, because the set pieces were well placed that made the journey enjoyable. It has individual biomes for each level. For my non-English speakers out there, biomes are distinct geographical locations with specific climates, vegetations, elements, and animal life. Anyways, Stellar Blade has linear levels and open world levels separately where it kind of chops into large pieces. Like you'll venture into areas that are straightforward, and then the next biome, you'll explore open world stages and then repeat. And it's not necessarily a bad thing either. I just kind of question its identity at this point. Then around 2/3 into the game's story, it becomes linear again. And this time, it is a point of no return, which take a huge chunk in the game's story. And luckily again, the set pieces, level structure, and environment layouts saved it. Also, I do notice that some open worlds are not created equal in my opinion. For example, the layout of the wasteland was fairly balanced. Every corner in most areas were very different. It kept me curious as I explored due to the vertical geography while not being overwhelming. The Great Desert, on the other hand, was kind of the opposite. Bigger does not mean better. There was so much backtracking and running, even with the save points that allowed you to fast travel, made me check my main map often. I strongly think that if they were to make a sequel, a mini-map on your gameplay heads-up display would have helped big time since it will make navigation convenient. Though another positive I would like to add are the platforming and environmental puzzles. While I know most people in modern gaming dislike them, but I respect Shift Up for keeping it old school just for me. Besides the environmental puzzles, they are not that hard. They range from moderate to easy difficulty, not much to think about. And as for the platforming, not difficult at all either, since grabbing ledges and bars feels very magnetic or sticky. So basically the game holds your hands if you got complaints. Next, the RPG elements and gameplay loop. Now this segment kind of divided some people who may share some concerns, not all of them mind you. So when I compared Stellar Blade to the PlayStation 2 and 3 era of gaming for a good reason, the hack and slash combat is fun. While not spectacular, it does a solid job to keep things interesting. I find it odd for a game that's a hack and slash genre. Some people say it gets repetitive. I'm like, what? That makes no sense. So I'm trying to find out why would they say that. And so, playing this on New Game Plus, I do notice that getting to your goal from point A to B exposes some problems. When you think of the hack and slash combat genre, you think of linear levels with some minor elements of exploration, or have multiple segmented levels in a hub world connect with each other, like a Metroidvania map. The point is, you're aware of the path you take and you follow through them. Simple. But I suppose some parts in Stellar Blade's level design where it's just too expansive or too cluttered, creating this wide gap between action versus exploration. The level pacing just feels off. Then we have the side quests, which are okay. They're not great, just okay. I can easily say that 2 or 3 out of 20 plus have a strong narrative pull and good backstory to them. And the ones that are interesting to do, they unlock outfits for Eve, so beware of that. The majority of these side quests are fetch quests, or kill a certain number of targets, and the rewards are very minuscule. I think that Stellar Blade suffers from that mobile game design. The overall implications has that latch onto it. Next up, the RPG elements. The skill tree. I don't know why most games have it nowadays. I mean, it's kind of weird that single player games have skill trees. I mean, you're gonna unlock everything anyways, and there's not much to customize it. But most of all, I think the in-game equipment plays a huge role. Even though most of them are not that great, like say HP boost or increased critical chance, there is a specific equipment that I highly recommend to make this game a bit more fun. And it is enhancing the speed of your attacks, which to me is a game changer because it makes executing and finishing different combo strings one after another a lot faster, since it almost removes the delay between each combo string. So get on that, will ya? Number 4, sound effects and music. In this department, I would give it a 10 out of 10 because it is crisp, clean, and when you hear that sword clinging every time you parry, it just feels good, and it echoes within your ear every time you hit that parry. It's nice. Plus, the sound of the crunch and the guts being spilled on the enemy, very squishy and visceral. And as for the background music, phenomenal, really. It's relaxing, especially when you're in the wasteland area or desert. It's calm, it's chill, and sometimes I don't feel like using the fast travel because that's how good the music was. And there's this other one. It's very poppy. Spoiler alert, F it, I'm gonna say it anyway. We fight this boss called Raven. Yeah, it gets a little K-pop here and there. You know, I admit, I'm not really a big fan of that genre, but I'm guilty of this. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed her theme music. Number 5, character and story. And I gotta say, it is the weakest part of the game. I am sorry. I gotta be real here, the story kind of sucked. It did, it sucked balls. The whole foreshadowing thing from the beginning and the end of the game, it was executed poorly. I was like, huh? Like, this makes no goddamn sense. What's the theme of this game? The title says it all. The character, Adam Eve, rebirth, reborn. What does that remind you of? Anyways, as for the character, everybody is just flat out dull and boring. Especially the main protagonist, Eve. Like, my god, she is dry as sandpaper. Even when you put on a Korean dub, well, she probably put some inflection in her voice. The animations in the character's face, Eve, it just doesn't emote well. It's just flat. She looks like a porcelain doll, which is like, god damn, this character is boring. When I have to compare her to like other babes in video games, like say Bayonetta, she is known to be witty and sarcastic, and she doesn't take shit from nobody. And then we have Nier Automata, the main character 2B. Now, I never really like finished the game. I don't know why, but at least her character, she kind of questions everything. She questions her existence, and so I gotta respect 2B for that. And so, in conclusion, I would say it's close to an 8 out of 10 or a B+. While a lot of things were executed properly, it was well done, like the combat system, the sound, the music, and the graphics, fidelity, and all that stuff. It's great, but some areas just fall short, like the level design and the character and the story. But yeah, it reminds me of the PlayStation 2 and 3 era games where story wasn't that big, but presentation and action were on top of their game. Oh, and before I close out the video, I just want to let you know that I will be making one more Stellar Blade related video regarding a specific topic that's personal for me. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you all for watching. Dynamode out.